"This armor belongs to a legend," the queen said. Tracing its scars with reverence, guards lunged forward. Queen Sereth Val's throne chamber erupted in motion. Armored sentries swarmed the massive vault doors, plasma lances humming to life. The intruder, a hulking figure in scarred power armor, stood unmoving at the threshold, silhouetted against the siege fires raging beyond the palace walls. "Seize it," Sereth commanded. Her voice sliced through the murmurs of the War Council. "No human walks unbidden into my court." The figure didn't resist. It raised both hands, palms out. A deep click echoed as the helmet detached and dropped to the polished obsidian floor. Strands of sweat-matted dark hair framed a human woman's face. Captain Mara Kade, eyes steady, jaw set. Kade tossed a data chit forward. It skittered across the floor, stopping at the feet of Marshal Hrun Tek. "Credentials," she said in clipped Galactic Standard. "No kneel, no bow, just those two words." Hrun snatched the chit. His mandibles clicked in irritation as he scanned it. "Captain Mara Kade, Terran Marine Corps, attached to the 7th Siegebreakers. She's cleared for advisory, Your Majesty." Coalition Command sent her. Sereth's crest flared. Humans, always presuming familiarity. The Coalition's fragile pact against Warlord Kethmar's siege hung by threads of necessity, not trust. Rival fleets from a dozen worlds idled in orbit, their admirals squabbling over command, while Keth's attrition ground them down. Humans promised endurance. Sereth needed proof, not protocols. "Strip the armor," she ordered. "I will inspect it myself." Guards closed in. Kade unclasped her chest plate without protest. Segments of battered plasteel clattered to the floor, revealing a undersuit crusted with dried blood and regolith. Scars crisscrossed the plates. Gouge from plasma burns, dents from kinetic slugs, welds from hasty field repairs. Kade stood straight, unashamed, as the last gauntlet came off. Sereth rose from her throne. The court parted. She approached the pile, her clawed fingers tracing the deepest scar on the shoulder pauldron. It matched no standard coalition mark. Too irregular, too ancient. "This is no fresh battle damage," Sereth murmured. Her touch lingered on faint etchings beneath the wear, serial numbers, half erased. Archivist Leo Sen pushed forward from the shadows, his data slates clutched tight. "Majesty, allow me." He knelt by the armor, scanner humming. His tendrils quivered as he cross-referenced the marks against his forbidden archives, the sealed records of humanity's first contact wars, buried after the Treaty of Vale. The chamber fell silent. Hrun's warriors shifted uneasily. Admirals from the rival fleets exchanged glances. "Impossible," Leo whispered. His voice carried, Serial Batch 47 Omega, from the Endurance Campaign. The Ghost Legion. They held the breach of Kalor for 189 cycles against the Vorath swarm. No survivors logged. Presumed myth. Sereth's claws tightened on the pauldron. The legend flooded back, whispers in the archives of humans who fought without retreat, without resupply, their armor becoming legend itself. Kethmar's siege mirrored Kalor, endless waves, starvation tactics. If this human bore that legacy. Eyes locked on Kade. "You wear relic armor. Explain." Kade met her gaze. "Family heirloom, Your Majesty. Passed down. Fixed it myself after last week's breach. Works fine." Sereth's mind raced. Distrust festered in the council. Hrun doubted human ground tactics. The admirals chafed at sharing orbitals. Protocol demanded expulsion or quarantine, but Keth's forces tightened the noose daily. Attrition favored him. No more words. Sereth turned to the council. "We test her claims. Live fire mission. Now." Hrun's mandible snapped. "Majesty, the outer perimeter redirects everything," Sereth cut in. "Marshal, assemble your vanguard. Captain Cody leads the breach team. Archivist, you observe. Admirals, provide suppressing fire from orbit. We punch to the siege generators or die trying." Murmurs exploded. An admiral from the Creel fleet hissed, "Humans break first." "Their flesh yields." Kade scooped up her helmet. "Gear me up. I'll show you." Sereth watched as guards returned the armor pieces. Kade donned them with practiced speed, seals hissing shut. The human moved like the scars were badges, not burdens. Hrun barked orders. Warriors mobilized, hulking Kresh infantry with vibro axes, Creel snipers coiling in alcoves. Lio clutched his slates. eyes wide with the weight of history. Sareth strode to the command balcony overlooking the siege lines. Keth's forces ringed the palace, trench networks pulsing with energy shields, drone swarms blotting the stars. Bombardments rattled the shields above. "Transmit to all fleets," she commanded her aides. "Human leads. Results decide alliances." Cade's team assembled at the gate, 20 aliens, her in the center. She hefted a breaching charge, voice calm over comms. "Objective. Overload the nearest generator. We go loud." Prune signaled the charge. Gates ground open. Plasma fire erupted. Cade charged first. Her armor shrugged off grazing shots. She planted the charge on the outer barricade, detonating it in a bloom of fire. Shrapnel pinged off her plates. Kresh warriors followed, axes cleaving drones. But the enemy countered. Keth's heavies lumbered forward, autocannons roaring. One Kresh fell, gutted. Prune bellowed rage, pressing on. She vaulted a crater, rifle barking precise bursts. 2 heavies dropped, servos sparking. Cyrith gripped the balcony's edge. From here, the human seemed unstoppable. A glancing plasma bolt scorched her leg armor black. Cade staggered, then straightened. Kept moving. Lio gasped beside her. "Look. The gate, identical to the Sims. They endured because they ignored pain thresholds we cannot fathom." Enemy reinforcements poured in. A Kryl sniper crumpled under drone fire. Prune's line buckled. Cade adapted. She grabbed a fallen Kresh axe, hurled it into a drone cluster, then sprinted to the generator housing, undersuit visible through a rent plate, blood trickling, ignored. "Cover!" she shouted. Prune's remaining warriors laid suppressing fire. Sareth's fleet struck from orbit, lances of light vaporizing enemy lines. But ground was chaos. Cade slapped her override pack onto the generator. Sparks flew. It overloaded in a chain reaction, shields flickering citywide. Explosion rocked the field. Keth's forces reeled. Cade waved the team back. Armor smoking, one arm limp. She covered their retreat. Every step defied collapse. Back through the gates. Medics swarmed. Kade waved them off, cracking her helmet. Perimeter breached. Next target? Prune stared, mandibles slack. "You bled through 3 layers. How?" "Adrenaline," Cade said. "And habit." Sareth descended the balcony. The court watched. She touched the fresh scorch on Cade's armor. Hot, raw. The human hadn't flinched. "Archivist," Sareth said. "Log it. The Ghost Legion lives." Leo nodded. Slates flying. Admirals fell silent, eyes on the human. Keth's counter-barrage began, but now the coalition stirred. Sareth faced Cade. "Tomorrow, you lead the full assault. Prove the legend breaks sieges." Kade nodded once. "Yes, ma'am." In the human's steady gaze, Cyrith saw it. Endurance, not myth. The war turned here, on scarred plasteel and unyielding will. Warlord Keth's comms crackled through intercepted channels. "The palace fractures from within. Press harder." He was wrong. Sarith smiled. The fracture was his. Marshal Haroon Tech slammed his claw on the tactical holomap. "Captain Cade, that corridor. Breach it now. Enemy mines trigger on any powered signature. Artillery hits in 3 minutes." Captain Marakade snapped her helmet seals. Dust swirled in the forward trench. Coalition troops, scaled Vexari, chitin-plated Krang, and a handful of humans huddled behind blast shields. Shells whistled overhead, closer with each barrage. Cade's squad nodded. Rifles ready. Prune's mandibles clicked. Humans claimed endurance. He'd tested her before. Generator overload. Shield collapse. She'd walked out bleeding. Now, Kethmar's siege choked the palace sector. Warlord's attrition ground them down. This corridor punched through to his command bunker. Fail, and the coalition fractured. Cade vaulted the trench lip. Her powered exosuit hummed low, servos whirring. Mines lined the passage. Vexari tech, sensor webs that fried machines on approach. Drones littered the entry. Husks of twisted metal, power cores slagged. "Time on target inbound," Rune broadcast. His optics zoomed on Cade. She crouched at the mouth. Shells cratered the ridge above. Kade killed the suit power. Prune's display glitched. No hum. No lights. Her armor went dark. Manual mode. Dead weight. 20 kilos of plasteel and servos turned to ballast. She stepped forward on foot. "Captain," Rune roared. "Suit offline, you'll trigger." "Negative, Marshal." Cade's voice crackled, unfiltered. "Sensors hunt power. I'm cold now." Boots crunched gravel. She walked. Prune's claws gripped his console. "Impossible." Vexari suits massed less with gyros. Humans? Slab-muscled baselines in armor twice the weight. She moved deliberate, shoulders rolling. 1 step. 2. Mine stayed dormant. Coalition troops gaped. A Krang sergeant chittered. "She ghosts the field." Artillery screamed down. Impacts shook the earth. Ceiling groaned. Prefab duracrete laced with rebar. Dust sifted. Cade advanced 30 meters. 40. Her run tracked her vitals. Heart steady at 120. Oxygen nominal. No strain markers. She sidestepped a drone wreck, knelt, and pried its sensor node free. Wires sparked. She jammed it into her gauntlet port. Override hack. "Path clear to midpoint," she reported, pushing. Rune signaled his assault teams. Hold. Human leads. Distrust simmered in the ranks. Admirals whispered. Soft-skinned mammals unproven. But results mounted. Cade's generator stunt bought them the gates. Now this. 50 meters in. Ceiling rumbled louder. A crack spiderwebbed overhead. Debris rained. Structural failure imminent. Rune's auspex warned. Ceiling collapse in 60. Kade glanced up. Rock shifted. She unslung her pack. Field expedient kit. No pause. Rune barked. "All units, retreat." Corridor compromised. Troops scrambled back. Krang clawed dirt. Vexari jetted clear. Rune's forward observers peeled out. Kade stayed. She drove pitons into walls. Pneumatic hammer thumped. Cables whipped out, lashed to rebar struts. Brace 1. Brace 2. She heaved a girder across the fracture. Mag clamps locking. Sweat beaded her faceplate. Armored gloves, strained, serverless. Collapse hit. Tonna slabs plummeted. Kade braced the rig. Plasteel groaned. Dust choked the feed. Rune froze. "Captain, report." Static. Then, "Route secured. Send them in." Rune's mandibles parted. He punched the record drone's capture. Full footage. Power off walk. Hack. Brace. Raw data. He forwarded to Queen Sereth's command net. "Proof, Majesty. Human breaches the unbreakable." Troops surged past Kade. She slumped against her rig, breath ragged. One gauntlet flexed. Prior wound reopened, blood seeping seals. She waved the first Krang squad through. Go. Bunker ahead. Rune pushed forward himself. Corridor reeked of ozone and crushed stone. Kade's rig held, crude, perfect. He loomed over her. "You held a collapse. Suit dead. Why?" Kade cracked her helmet, grinned through grit. "Rigged what I had, Marshal. Walls fall. We prop 'em." She stood, suit still dark. Limpet ahead. Coalition fire teams poured in. Enemy return fire sparked. Keth's bunker loomed, shields flickering from orbital lances. Rune's comm pinged. Queen's channel. Sereth's voice. Icy command. "Marshal, footage received. Human leads to victory. Admirals, observe." In the palace war room, Queen Sereth Val replayed the feed. Cordon circled the holotank. Rival fleet lords, advisors stiff with doubt. Archivist Leo Sen hovered, slates whirring. Cade's form ghosted the corridor. Power null, step by human step. Ceiling buckled. She braced. Sereth's crest flared. She walks death, unarmed. Leo Sen leaned in. "Majesty, the relics match. Ghost Legion patterns. Endurance rigs from the old wars. Humans didn't conquer stars with speed. They outlasted." An admiral scoffed. "One soldier." "Attrition favors Keth." Asareth silenced him with a gesture. "Watch." Collapse hit. Cade held. Blood trailed her gauntlet, unheeded. Rune's voice overlaid. Proof. Sereth touched the tank. Human will, etched in duracrete. Keth's siege cracked here. Fleets unified under this. Archivist, log it. Dispatch Cade's squad to the vanguard. Full coalition follows. Leo bowed. "The legend endures, Majesty." Outside, Cade's team hit the bunker. Charges blew the hatch. Gunfire erupted. She shouldered in first, suit reigniting with a whine. "Breach and clear!" Rune flanked her. Krang heavies poured lasfire. Vexari drones swarmed vents. Kethmar's image flickered on intercepted feed. Alliance splinters. Press. A human grenade arced true. Bunker shook. Kade dropped the warlord's guard. Prune's blade finished Keth. Head severed clean. Victory klaxons wailed. Coalition roared, but Saerith watched the feeds. Cade emerged, armor rent, carrying a wounded Krang. Medics rushed. She waved them to the alien first. Prune clasped her shoulder. "You turn sieges, Captain." Cade shrugged. "Just the job, Marshal." Saerith smiled in the war room. Distrust died today. Endurance rewrote the war. Deeper scans pinged. Keth's reserves massed. A counter-siege brewed. Kadi geared for round 2. Suit patched. Eyes steady. The Queen keyed open channel. "Captain, the palace awaits your legend." Explosions rocked anew. Kade charged. In the shadows, Leo Sen cataloged relics from Cade's pack. Faded insignia, Ghost Legion, patterns aligned. Humans didn't break. They bent the galaxy around them. Saerith rose. "Mobilize all. The fracture spreads to them." Keth's remnants fractured first. Captain Cade walked into the fire. Coalition followed. Prune's Auspex locked new target. Enemy artillery nest. Shells inbound again. "Captain," he called. "Same play?" Cade powered down, stepped forward. Corridor 2 awaited. Machines died there. Humans walked. Queen Sereth's fleet struck from orbit. Ground surged. Siege shattered, but whispers grew. What else did humans endure? Cade's boot hit gravel. Mines hummed silent. She grinned. "Let's go." Artillery fell. She braced for it all. Prune recorded. Queen watched. War turned. One step at a time. Queen Sereth slammed her talon on the console. "Captain Cod, lead the night evac. No man's land. Drag every wounded soul back before dawn." Static crackled. Katie's voice cut through. "Copy, Your Majesty. Column forms in 5. Mixed squad. Krang heavies. Vex scouts. My engineers." Sacereth's war room screens flickered alive. Feeds from helmet cams and Auspex drones painted the siege lines in infrared ghosts. Kethmar's artillery nests hulked silent for now, but his drones patrolled the churned earth between coalition trenches and enemy wire. Wounded littered the zone. Krang crushed under rubble. Vex gassed in their burrows. Distrust simmered in her fleet admiral's reports. Humans endured, they said, but could one hold a multi-species column? Prumtek's gravelly rumble joined the channel. "My Krang will anchor the flanks, Queen." "But Kadade leads." "She does." Sereth's mandibles clicked sharp. "Test her claims. Results unify us." Boots thudded on feeds. Cade's squad assembled at the trench lip. 10 souls, oxygen packs humming low, water bladders half empty from yesterday's push. Cade checked seals on alien suits first. A Vex scout wheezed, filter clogged. She swapped her spare without pause. "Move out," Kadi barked. The column dropped into the dark, bellies scraping mud. Saerith leaned closer to the central holoscreen. Archivist Leo Sen hovered at her elbow, stylus tapping a data slate. "Patterns repeat, Majesty. Human relics from prior wars. Endurance logs. They rationed to the edge. Watch." The feed locked on Katie's cam. Night Run churned forward. Kade waved the column left around a minefield scar. Krang heavies lumbered, their mass eating oxygen twice as fast. A Vex lagged, gills fluttering dry. "Oxy low?" Cade asked. "Affirm," the Vex rasped in halting coalition standard. Cade yanked her pack tube free, linked it to the alien's intake. Sip. 1 breath per minute. Water next. She passed her canteen, forcing gulps down multi-throated gullets. Krang guzzled half. She rationed the rest, drops for Vex, sips for herself. Column pressed. No man's land widened into shell craters. First wounded, a Krang pinned under Ferrocrete. Rune's voice spiked on open channel. "That's Squad 3's demolitions, Chief." Cade dropped prone, scraped debris with gloved hands. Engineers hauled. Krang roared thanks as they dragged him aboard a hover sled. "Keep moving," Cade said. Saerith's claws drummed the armrest. Human suits held triple the alien standard. Adaptations from their Ghost Legion wars, Leo whispered. But Cade gave hers away first. Second cluster. Vex scouts, shredded by shrapnel. Cade triaged, loaded the viable. Left 2 tagged for drone pickup. Column groaned under weight. A Krang heavy staggered, tank at 10%. Cade spliced lines, shared her reserve. Breathe shallow. We hump it back. Enemy drones whined distant. Sareth tensed. Keth's toys. Swarm hunters. Poison dart launchers. Auspex pinged inbound. Drones! Kroon bellowed from forward command. Kade's feed jerked. Down! Trench left! 2 o'clock. The column dove. Enemy drones swooped, lasers stitching mud. Bolts scorched a Vex flank. Poison dart clouds billowed, forcing the squad into a jagged poison dust trench. Air turned soup thick. Filters screamed overload. Sareth screens hazed green. Toxicity spiked. Krang suits vented seals, too bulky for microleaks. Vex collapsed, membranes blistering. Cade's voice stayed level. Seal breaches? Scrap plating, now. She ripped hull fragments from a wrecked drone, smashed them over Krang chest cracks, duct tape from her belt. Human relic, sticky as sin, bound edges tight. No gaps, air held. 1 Vex down, suit ruptured. Kade hefted him. Strapped the alien across her shoulders piggyback, legs pumped. Column followed, sleds dragging, drones circling. Kroon reported, holding fire to avoid your dust cloud. Copy. Cade trudged. Poison dust clawed her visor. Oxygen gauge dipped to yellow. She ignored it, carried the Vex, rationed her last water slug to a faltering Krang. Sareth's war room fell silent. Leo's stylus froze mid-note. Majesty, her vitals. Human baselines hold where ours fail. Feeds showed it. Cade's stride steady, while squad mates wheezed. Trench narrowed. Drones pinned them. Darts peppering lips. A Krang heavy dropped, tank dry. Kade unslung him too. Doubled her load. On me. Step lively. She charged the trench exit. Mud-sucked boots. Poison haze burned eyes through seals. Squad rallied behind. Last wounded aboard sleds. Total evac, 14. Drones dove final pass. Cade twisted, plating shield raised. Darts pinged off. She powered through wire. Coalition lines erupted. Medics swarmed. Sareth rose from her throne. Medics stripped the Vex from Cade's back first. She waved them off, helped unload Krang. Armor hung in tatters, suit at 5% oxy. Patched with tape and spite, Perun Tech clasped her pauldron. Krang fashion, respect grip. You dragged my kin from hell, Captain. Sieges break on backs like yours. Kade shrugged dust. Team effort, Marshal. Patch the suits. We go again. At dawn. Sareth keyed open channel. All fleets heard. Captain Cade returns. Wounded saved. Human endurance confirmed. Admiral's chatter hushed. Leo Sen bowed. Legacy aligns, Majesty. Ghost Legion patterns. Resilience beyond attrition. Sareth's mandibles parted in alien smile. She tapped the assignment slate. Cade shifted. From provisional asset to key capability. No more tests. Core strike teams now hers to lead. But Auspex pinged urgent. Kethmar's reserves massed. Counter push brewing. Artillery nests reloaded. Captain, Sareth broadcast. Regroup. Palace command elevates you. Lead the breach. Kade's feed cam turned up. Grimed face, steady eyes. Roger. Suit sealing. Ready. Explosions rocked feeds anew. Cade's squad vanished into forward trenches. Rune's Auspex locked enemy guns. Leo cataloged fresh relics from Cade's pack. Faded tape rolls, Endure insignia. Sareth mobilized fleets. All units follow the human's pace, fracture Keth's lines. Coalition surged. Distrust bled away. 1 trench at a time. Cade hit the breach point. Poison lingered in her lungs. She grinned at the squad. Oxy-topped? Water rationed? Good. Night run 2. Deeper. Drones whined again. She charged first. Sareth watched the feed. War turned not on fleets or strategies. On a human who carried when air turned toxic. Deeper scans screamed. Keth's full counter-siege mast. Rune called. Captain, artillery nest. Your play? Cade powered servos, stepped into fire. Same as always. Coalition followed, Queen Sareth rose fully. Mobilize everything. Humans rewrite sieges. Shells fell. Cade walked through. Alian stared in awe. Endurance bent the lines. But whispers spread. What else did these humans carry unspoken? Katie's boot crunched enemy wire. Minds hummed. She pressed on. Squad at her back. United now. Warlord Kethmar's command bunker trembled. Reports flooded. Evac success human-led. His attrition plan cracked. Sareth smiled wider. Key capability indeed. Cade vanished into the nest. Guns silenced one by one. Coalition poured through. Siege shattered, but the Queen's gaze lingered on the humans' vitals. Steady, unbreaking. What depths remained? Leo's slate glowed with questions. Kadi emerged, dragging Keth's lieutenant, grinned through dust. One more? Prune laughed. Rare Krang thunder. Archivist Leo Sen burst through the war room doors. His claws clicked against the polished deck. Majesty. The human's armor. It matches. Look. Queen Sareth Val straightened on her command throne. Feeds from the shattered siege still flickered on the walls. Kade's squad hauled Kethmar's lieutenant toward holding. Prunetek's laughter echoed faintly through the comms, but Sen's urgency cut it short. Sareth extended a sensory tendril that brushed the slate. Data bloomed, schematics overlaid. Cade's battered suit aligned perfectly with a relic log. Human Expeditionary Force, Unit Delta, 7. Lost centuries ago. During her dynasty's founding war. Explain, Sareth commanded. Her voice hummed low, binding the room's aids. Sen's frills flared. Scans during her medevac, micro-etchings on the pauldrons. Identical to our vaults. That unit vanished defending Throne World Prime against a Vorth swarm. They bought us time to evacuate the cradle. Distrust rippled through the aids, whispers. Humans as relics, liabilities carrying ghosts. Sareth silenced them with a gesture. Cade's endurance had just cracked Keth's lines. Poison trenches. Artillery nests. She walked through fire while Krang warriors faltered. But this? A direct link to her bloodline's survival. Summon Captain Cade and Marshal Froon. Now, under oath protocols. Froon arrived first. His massive frame filled the hatch. Victory secured, Majesty. Keth's bunker yields data cores. The human dragged out his second, unscathed. Sareth nodded. Good, but questions linger. Cod entered next. Dust caked her armor. Servos whirred softly. She snapped a salute, eyes steady behind the cracked visor. No fatigue slumped her shoulders. Captain Marakade, Sareth intoned. Oath lights bathed the room in binding azure. You stand before the Val Court. Swear truth on your lineage codes, origin of that armor. Speak. Cade's helmet seals hissed. She removed it. Sweat-matted hair framed a scarred face. Grime streaked her cheeks. She met Sareth's multifaceted gaze. Sworn, Majesty. Truth as my chain of command demands. Sen projected the match again. This suit, Delta. 7 markings. How does a frontier engineer carry a lost legend? Kade's gloved hand traced the pauldron. Scratches glowed under scan. Family heirloom. Passed down. My great-great-aunt wore it. Sergeant Ilara Cade. Delta. 7. Gasps rippled. Aides leaned in. Sareth's tendrils tightened on her armrests. Proof. Or fabrication. Cade knelt. Pried a sealed panel on her chest plate. Hinges groaned. Sealed for generations. She extracted 2 items. A mission patch, fabric stiff with dried blood, and a dog-tag chip, etched with human script, edges corroded. Here, she extended them on her palm. Aunt Ilara's, blood from her last stand. Chips encoded. A AAR after-action report, sealed post-mission. Sen snatched the chip. His manipulators flew across his slate, decryption algorithms word. Vol encryption matrix, human adapted, compatible. The war room holoprojector ignited. A grainy feed expanded wall to wall. Human voices crackled through old audio filters. Captain Ilara Cade, Delta 7. Logging final stand. Throne World Prime. Sector 9. Vorath breach at 040. Coalition lines folded. Krang heavies pinned. Vol flyers swarmed out of fuel. Grainy helmet cam showed chaos. Human squad, 10 figures, In identical armor, they stacked breach chargers on a hive rift. Vorath claws slashed, acid sprays melted bulkheads. Evac the Queen Regent's cradle. Priority Alpha. We're the wall. Hold till dust off. Elara's voice. Steady, like Mara's. Explosions rocked the feed. One human fell, chitin piercing her leg. She crawled. Firing. Rhea's down. Keep stacking. Sen's voice broke. This was the cradle siege. My archives say unknown auxiliaries bought the hour. Your kin. Bead continued. Ilara slapped the detonator. Rift collapsed in plasma fire. Vorath's screams cut short, but reinforcements poured. Log sealed. Tell the Queen, humans endure. Delta, 7 out. Static, end transmission. Silence gripped the room. Prune's mandibles clicked respect. Aids' frills drooped in awe. Sereth rose. Her throne hummed as she descended. She touched the projected Ilara, fingers phasing through hollow. Then the patch in Cade's hand. Blood flaked under her tendril. This armor, Sereth declared, voice amplifying through the chamber, is no mere relic. It carried the log that saved my throne. Delta.
7 died for Vol sovereignty.
She turned to the court. Stand down all inquiries, all scans. This suit, and its bearer, are protected under Alliance History Edict. Touch it, face my wrath. Aides bowed. Whispers turned to murmurs of wonder. Kadi stood, pocketed the items. Just doing our jobs, Majesty. Then and now. Kroon grunted approval. Endurance echoes. Keth's attrition failed on it twice. Vitals from the siege replayed in her mind. Vitals from the siege replayed in her mind. Steady pulse through toxins, unbreaking stride through shells. What else hid in human bloodlines? Captain, your aunt's log mentions dust-off. Who extracted Delta? 7? Cade's jaw tightened. No one, Majesty. They held. We honor by carrying on. Sen cross-referenced furiously. Archives confirm. No survivors logged, but secondary signals, faint pings post-stand. Untraced. Sereth's tendrils quivered, patterns emerged. Humans didn't just endure. They seeded legacies. Underestimated, again. Marshal Haroon. Secure Keth Mar. Full interrogation. Haroon saluted. At once, Cade geared to follow. Sereth halted her. You. Remain. We discuss. Inheritance. Cod nodded. No questions. Just readiness. The war room cleared. Feeds shifted to post-siege mop-up. Coalition fleets realigned under Vol banner. United now. All binding fractures. But Sereth's scans delved deeper. Cade's vitals spiked faintly. Not fatigue. Anticipation. What unspoken depths did humans carry? And who else wore lost armor in the ranks? Outside, Haroon's voice boomed over comms. Keth resists. Human squad requests entry. Sereth smiled. Granted. Let endurance rewrite him too. Cade's hand brushed her pauldron. Seal clicked shut. Secrets hummed within. The Queen watched. Alliance forged in blood. Old and new. But Keth's core dumps blinked incoming. One file pulsed. Human anomalies detected. War's next turn loomed. Explosions ripped through the outer perimeter. Queen Sareth Vol gripped her command throne as red alerts flooded the bunker feeds. Warlord Kethmar's shock troops breached the line. Thermal blooms swarmed toward her position. Lock it down! Marshal Haroon Tech bellowed over comms. His armored form filled the secondary display, directing bulkhead seals. Abandon the outer ring. Pull back to inner defenses. Sereth's tendrils flexed. Political fractures be damned. Mar aimed to end her here. Coalition fleets orbited above, but ground assault pinned them. She scanned troop dispositions. Human advisor Captain Mara Cade's icon blinked active in the engineering bay. Haroon's voice cut sharp. Majesty, evacuate. We hold the breach. No. Sereth overrode the protocol. This bunker stands. Deploy all reserves. Archivist Leo Sen huddled at a console, cross-referencing siege relics. Mars' pattern matches prior coalitions. Attrition strike. He expects us to fracture. Sereth's gaze locked on Cade's feed. The human moved like liquid resolve, hauling cold-soaked decoys into position. Human tech chilled alloys that mimicked thermal dead zones. Aliens scanned heat, Humans gained the cold. Cade's voice crackled through. Majesty, permission to rig counter-ambush. Your bunker as bait. Growl. Human, that's suicide. Mars troops punched through Ferrocrete. Trust the play, Marshal. Cade's hands flew, wiring-shaped charges. Their scanners see cold as empty. We fill it with fire. Sareth weighed it. Rival admirals whispered against human integration. Liabilities, they called them, but Cade's aunt's log burned in her mind. Unbreaking strides through hell. Authorized, Captain. Command Joint Squad. I remain. Backlash hit instant. Prune's channel flooded with protests from allied captains. A human leads Vol's guard? Precedent. Silence, Sareth snapped. Her authority crushed dissent. Feeds showed Cade snapping orders to a mixed unit. Bruin's elites. Her own tendril spears, human engineers. Cade crouched in the outer trench, breath steady in void-chilled air. She positioned decoys. Human-forged hull scraps, soaked in liquid cryo for zero thermal signature. Enemy assault craft screamed inbound, disgorging Mars shock troops. Hulking brutes with plasma lances, expecting panicked retreat. Decoys locked, Cade murmured into comms. Lure them into the chute. Prune's squad held the flanks, his disciplined fire suppressing flanks. Sareth watched from the bunker core, vitals calm despite the thunder. Her tendrils traced the trap's geometry. A kill chute funneled by collapsed hab domes, charges primed at contact range. Mars vanguard charged. Scanners pinged empty cold ahead, no heat, no threat. They poured into the chute, lances glowing. Cade thumbed the detonator. Contact. Shaped charges erupted in sequence. Plasma-focused blasts shredded armor at 5 meters. Brutes vaporized mid-stride. Shock waves pulped the rear ranks. Secondary blasts chained, collapsing the chute roof. Screams cut short under rubble. Sareth's feeds captured it. Humans didn't flinch. Cade advanced through smoke, rifle barking precise bursts. Her joint squad followed, Prune's elites awed silent, spears thrusting into stunned survivors. Flanks secured, Cade reported. No fatigue in her tone. Pushing to Mars command, skiff. Rune grunted approval. Results noted, Captain. Press. Sareth rose from her throne. The Queen's chamber shook from aftershocks, but she strode to the forward viewport. Outside, Cade's squad dismantled the remnants. Human endurance up close. Sweat beaded Cade's brow. Yet she reloaded without pause, directing fire like breath. Leosen approached, data slate glowing. Majesty. Battlefield relics match human patterns. Delta. 7 echoes. Untraced signals post-stand. They don't break. They embed. Sareth's tendrils stilled, underestimated. Again. Mars' skiff burned in the distance, but his core dumps streamed in. Human anomalies flagged. What legacies did Cade carry? Alarms spiked anew. Secondary wave inbound? Prune barked. Cade's voice cut through. We hold the bunker. Queen stays. Trap resets. Sareth authorized full support. Political rivals watched from orbit, their doubts cracking. Collaboration turned the siege. Cade breached the skiff hatch. Mars' form slumped inside, armored but broken. Prune loomed behind her. Interrogation now. Mars spat blood. You fracture next. Humans tire, all do. Cade hauled him up, grip iron. We don't. Sareth observed the feed. Human resilience rewrote the board. But Mars dumps decrypted. Anomalies, endurance spikes, bloodlines engineered. Her scans delved Cade's pauldron. Faint ping, untraced legacy. The war turned. What depths hid in human ranks. Prune dragged Mar to the bunker. Doors sealed. Cade stood ready, eyes on Sareth. No questions.
Just the next fight. Core dump finalized.
Human inheritance confirmed. Deploy countermeasures. Sareth's tendrils quivered. Alliance bound tighter. But inheritance loomed. Humans as keys or threats. Explosions rocked anew. Mar laughed through pain. It begins. Cade geared up. Sareth nodded. Endurance met its match. Or forged a new one. Mars' final file pulsed. Coordinates to a human wreck. Buried signals stirred. The Queen watched Cade lead out. Traps within traps. War's truth unfolded. Prune secured the prisoner. Orders, Majesty? Decoded all. Seraph commanded. Humans, lead the breach. Outside, Cade's squad vanished into the storm. No halt. No yield. Awe rippled through the ranks. Coalition held, but secrets hummed louder. What armor did humans truly wear? Incoming strike signatures bloomed. Reinforcements or revelation? Seraph gripped the console. The turn accelerated. Cade's comms. Contact heavy. Holding. Forever. Leo Sin whispered. Patterns confirm. They cede victory and defeat. Seraph smiled thin. Queen learned up close. Humans endured. Now, they inherited. Mars' eyes widened at the decrypt. Impossible. Not anymore. Bunker shook. Squad pushed. Alliance unbreakable. But the file's core awakened the lost. Human bloodlines called. War remade. Seraph authorized the dive. Kadi would unearth it. Endurance unveiled its edge. Enemy fleets shifted. Too late. Queen's gaze pierced the feeds. Human normalcy. Alien legend. The siege broke. Legacy rose. One unbreaking stride at a time. Queen Seraph Val thrust her claw toward the tactical holo display. Launch the breakout. All units through Sector 7, now, before Mars orbitals burn us. Alarms wailed across the bunker command deck. Prune Tech snapped to attention, his armored crest flaring. Fleets align, Majesty. Mixed ground assault. Leads. Seraph's multifaceted eyes locked on the central feed. Captain Maracade's human squad plunged into the storm-lashed breach, carapace-armored Keth warriors and her own Vol skirmishers trailing. Human resilience. Unproven myth or siegebreaker. The Queen's mandibles clicked. Time revealed all. Static erupted. Comms jammed. Hrun growled. Enemy XM blankets the zone. Kade didn't falter. She raised a gauntleted fist, then swept it low. Universal signal for advance. Keth grunts hesitated, their slit-pupilled eyes darting. A Vol drone mimicked the gesture. Others followed. The mixed unit surged forward, plasma bolts sizzling past. Seraph leaned closer to the feed. She coordinates without words. Bold, Fruin rumbled approval. Results matter. But the gap. Unconfirmed. Kay dashed ahead alone. Enemy fire stitched the mud. She rolled through a crater, popped up and fired her rifle in controlled bursts. 2 Mars siege drones crumpled. She waved frantically. Gap confirmed. Reserves. Now. Hrun barked into his backup channel. Coalition heavies poured through, lasers carving a wedge. Syrith's primary heart quickened. Humans charged walls as routine. Her fleets shattered on lesser odds. Deeper in, Cade's feed glitched, then stabilized. Helmet cam raw. A Mar counter-battery round slammed nearby. Her suit's left actuator sparked and died with a hydraulic whine. Armor plating locked half-extended, dragging her shoulder low. Cade grunted. No retreat. She wedged her rifle against the frozen joint, using it as a brace. Fired again. Advanced. Mud sucked at her boots. She signaled halt, then forward. Units held formation. Her power frame fails, Archivist Leo Sen murmured from the data pit, tentacles flying over relics. Yet she adapts, like the old Rex. Manual overrides etched in human alloy. Seraph silenced him with a glare. Focus. The holomat pulsed red. Mars attrition push mast at the bridge choke. Coalition vanguard pinned. Prune snarled. Warlord commits his grinders. They'll bleed us dry. Feed switched to drone overwatch. Mars forces, hulking siege brutes with vibroclaws, swarmed the span. Coalition troops faltered. Vol drones burrowing for cover. Keth warriors bellowing defiance but yielding ground. Cade pushed into the maelstrom. Her braced arm swung a plasma cutter like a club shearing a brute's leg. She dropped to a knee as shrapnel pinged her visor. Bridge groaned. Structural alerts flashed across feeds. Humans hit! A Keth sergeant voxed through jamming bursts. Line buckles! Seraph gripped the console edge, claws scoring plasteel. Cade rose, ignored the limp. Signaled wedge formation. Vol drones to flanks. Keth center. She anchored the pivot herself, rifle barking, cutter whirling. One brute charged. She sidestepped, tripped it into the gorge below. Bridge deck buckled further, ferrocrete cracking. Mars' voice cut through intercepted enemy chatter. Fracture them. Attrition wins. Not today. Cade's squad rallied. A Vol drone laid suppressive fire. Keth heavies flanked. The human held the choke alone as reserves crested the rise behind. Hrun punched the commit. Pushing all in. Sareth watched the tide turn. Cade's visor cracked. Blood trickled inside. Human normal. She didn't wipe it. Fired. Advanced. The bridge sagged. A span dropping into abyss. Enemy grinders recoiled. Leo Sen's voice rose. Majesty. Patterns match. Human endurance. Legacy of those wrecks. They built to outlast stars. Sareth waved him quiet. Her gaze pierced the feed. Kade converted ruin to rampart. Comms dead. Armor shattered. Bridge collapsing. Yet the line held. Explosions chained along the siege ring. Coalition breached. Mars orbitals shifted late. Hrun turned. Gap widens, Majesty. Human leads. Sareth's mandibles parted in rare smile. Assets. Unbreakable ones. Press it. Decode Mars file en route. Cade unearths the wreck. Feeds bloomed with allied signatures. Orbital support inbound. Mars laugh echoed faint on intercept. Impossible. Cade's final signal flashed. Hold. Push. The Queen straightened. War turned. Human normalcy remade fleets. But the wreck pulsed deeper signals. Bloodlines stirred. Sareth's claw tapped console. Truth accelerated. Outside. Cade dragged her brace arm forward. Squad followed. Bridge groaned final warning. She didn't stop. Captain Mara Kade tasted copper visor blood smeared. Actuator grind echoed her pulse. Bridge trembled under stomping feet. Keep tight, she bellowed. Voice raw sans comms. Hand slashed right flankers obeyed. A Mar brute lunged. Kade braced rifle against frozen pauldron. Trigger pulled. Chest burst. It toppled, cracking deck further. Vol drone chittered alarm, span fracturing. Keth warrior hauled a wounded comrade. Eyes wide at her. Human, kept stride. Reserves hit the rear. Hrun's voice boomed back up. Tech reserves link. Push gained momentum. Enemy attrition faltered. Brutes milled. Commanders voxing retreat. Cade ignored suit warnings. Power at 12%. Structural failure imminent. Bridge dipped. She staggered. Caught rail. Bent but held. Signaled charge. Squad roared. Plasma and laser fire converged. Mar line shredded. Deck sheared. A 10-meter gap yawned. Kade leaped without pause. Boots hit far side. Rolled. Rose firing. Others bridged with grapples. Line held. From bunker feed, Sareth exhaled. Ah. Settled. Humans endured. Close enough. Mars counter died. Siege cracked, but wreck coordinates burned in Cade's HUD fragment. Legacy called. She advanced, unbreaking. Pruntech crested the ridge, eyes on the human. Kade anchored the far lip, cutter sparking against drone wreckage. Gap secure, he voxed Majesty. Human proves. Sareth's reply snapped. Secure wreck. Full assault follows. Hrun nodded to Kade. She saluted. Bloodied, braced, unbroken. Coalition surged. Attrition's end. Queen's truth. Humans wore no special armor. Just will. Mars fleets peeled back. Too late. Sareth Val dismissed the deck. Feeds looped Cade's stand. Archivist Leo approached, relic in grasp. Human etchings. Confirmed, Majesty. Endurance seeds victory. She nodded. Unify fleets. Humans led now. Orbital booms shook bunker. Breakout won. Secrets hummed. Awaken lost. War remade. One stride at a time. Cade's squad vanished toward wreck. No halt. Sareth followed on tactical. Learn up close. Humans endured. Alliance forged. Enemy shifted. Revelation dawned. Queen Sareth Val gripped the shuttle's crash rail as it slammed onto the bridge deck. Explosions rocked the hull. She kicked the hatch open. Acrid smoke billowed. Coalition troops snapped salutes amid the chaos. Majesty! Marshal Hrun Tech bellowed from a barricade. His armored form loomed over laser-scarred ferrocrete. Bridge choke secured. Mars line holds 50 meters ahead. Sareth strode forward. Her royal guard fanned out. Drones hummed overhead, painting enemy positions in red holos. The bridge spanned a kilometer-wide chasm. Enemy siege fleets visible in the orbital haze beyond. Attrition had ground them here for weeks. No more. Personal command, she declared. Link me to Captain Cod. Full push now. Prune's mandibles clicked approval. Human leads the breach squad. She's holding. Sareth's optics zoomed on the feed. Cade crouched at the gap's edge, plasma cutter flaring. Her armor smoked from a dozen hits. Squad mates, mixed human and Volari, braced behind her, coordinates locked. Cade's voice crackled over Vox. Fatigue edged her tone, but steel underpinned it. Controlled charges inbound. Meter by meter, Sareth watched the human slap demo packs onto drone wreckage. No hesitation. Cade's team crawled forward under suppression fire. Mars' line poured plasma from bunkers. A Volari soldier crumpled. Then a human. "Suppress!" Prune roared. His flankers unleashed railguns. Slugs chewed enemy cover. Cade ignited the first charge. A precise blast vaporized a barricade segment. Shrapnel pinged off her visor. She advanced. Squad followed. Laser bolts scorched the deck. Katie rolled, fired her rifle one-handed. Dropped 2 hostiles. 10 meters gained, she reported. Reloading. Sareth's claws tightened on her command slate. Humans fought like this? Endless. Her fleets whispered doubts. Fragile mammals, unproven. Outdated scans called them liabilities. She saw truth now. Up close, another charge. Deck shuddered. Enemy drones swarmed. Cade's cutter sliced 3 midair. Sparks flew. She leaped debris, boots grinding twisted metal. Squad bridged with grapples, hauling wounded across. Prune voxed from the ridge flank. "Majesty, my forces crest in 30. Pin them." "Do it," Sareth snapped. "Force the corridor." Kade's voice cut in. "Breach at strongpoint Alpha. Heavy fire." "Need cover." Sareth signaled her guard. "Artillery pattern Delta. Now." Shells screamed overhead. Enemy bunkers erupted. Cade surged. Her team cleared the next 10 meters with grenades and rifles. Blood slicked her greaves. Armor plates hung shattered. Still she moved. Meter by meter, plasma scorched her pauldron. She ignored it. Fired. Advanced. A squad mate fell. Kade dragged him back, slapped a med patch, then pressed on. Sareth's breath caught. Endurance. Not myth. Fact. Prune Tech vaulted the ridgeline. His ground pounders, hulking Volari infantry, charged Mars' exposed flank. Railguns thundered. Enemy formation buckled. "Flank secured." Rune growled. Surrender corridor open. No massacre. Mars troops wavered. Vox chatter spiked. Panic in their ranks. Coalition fire converged. Warlord Kethmar's banner toppled from a bunker. Sareth pushed to the front barricade. Smoke cleared. Cade's squad held the deck center. Bodies littered the path, human and alien alike. Kade knelt amid wreckage. Her cutter sparked against the final drone husk. Armor vented steam. HUD flickered red. Critical damage. Gap secure, she voxed. Bridge hours. Prune's forces funneled in. Enemy survivors dropped weapons. Surrender corridor formed. Mars fleets peeled back orbital positions. Booms echoed as coalition ships exploited the breach. Sareth advanced through the haze. Her guard cleared a path. She reached Cade's position. The human slumped against a rail. Shattered armor gleamed, etched with unit insignias, scarred by fire. A relic already. Troops gathered. Prune loomed nearby. Archivist Leo Sen clutched a salvaged plate, eyes wide on etchings. Sareth knelt beside the armor. Claws traced the rents. Plasma burns.
Slug impacts. Unbroken core.
"This," she declared, voice carrying over Vox to all channels, "is the property of a living legend." Silence fell. Troops stared. Prune's mandibles stilled. Leo nodded fiercely. Cade stirred. Servos whined. She pushed upright. Blood crusted her faceplate seal. One arm hung limp. "With respect, Majesty," she said, voice steady. It was the team. Sareth froze. The human stood, wobbly but firm. Squad mates straightened. A Volari private gripped his rifle tighter. Humans clapped Cade's shoulder. Aliens exchanged glances. Prune rumbled. "She speaks truth." Joint unit held. Leo stepped forward. Etchings confirm. Human resilience seeds victory. Patterns match ancient relics. Endurance unmatched. Sareth rose. Awe tightened her chest. No special tech. No secrets. Just will. Her assumptions shattered like the deck. Mars' surrender broadcast crackled. Coalition victorious. Siege broken. Cheers erupted. Orbital feeds showed enemy fleets withdrawing. Breakout achieved. But Sareth's gaze locked on K-Day. The human waved off medics, pointed to the wreck coordinates ahead. Legacy site next. Squad moves. No rest, Sareth asked. Kade met her eyes through cracked visor. Impossible conditions, Majesty. Routine for us. Prune laughed, a deep bark. Humans lead. We follow, Sareth nodded. Fleets unified. Distrust evaporated. War turned. Captain Mara Kade shouldered her rifle. Wreck loomed ahead. Ancient human markers amid debris. Her HUD fragment pulsed. Coordinates burned in. Squad formed up. Mixed ranks. Balari beside humans. They advanced. No pause. Sareth watched from the rail. Learned the truth up close. Humans endured. Alliance forged in fire. Enemy shifted tactics. Too late. Revelation spread, one stride at a time. Pruntek synced his flankers to Cade's pace. Wreck secure. Full assault inbound. Kade saluted. Bloodied, braced, unbroken. Coalition surged. Attrition ended. From the bunker feed earlier, Sareth had exhaled awe. Now, on deck, it settled deep. Humans wore no special armor, just will. Archivist Leo approached her again. Relic plate and claws. Majesty, confirmed. Seeds of endurance. Victory's legacy. Sareth dismissed doubts. Unify fully. Humans, assets. Proven. Orbital booms shook the bridge. Breakout won. Kade's squad vanished into the wreck haze. No halt, Sareth followed on tactical overlay. Close now. War remade. One human stand echoed across fleets. Queen's truth dawned. Respect earned. Awe followed. Mars remnants scattered. Coalition pressed. Endurance won. But whispers hummed. Lost secrets in the wreck. Awaken them. Cade's voice voxed back. Sight breached. Anomalies detected. Sareth's optics sharpened. Next phase. Alliance unbreakable. Queen Sareth Vol strode after them. Personal command held. Bridge theirs. War turned. Captain Cade cleared drone remnants with a final cutter sweep. Squad fanned into the wreck. Grapples bit ferrocrete. Perimeter hold, she ordered. Scan for legacy. A Vahalari tech knelt beside her. Readings, spike. Human origin? Cade nodded. Ours. Old war. Matches, etchings. Brune arrived. Pounding ground. Flank locked. Surrender complete. Mars' banner lay trampled. His tactician knelt. Weapons dropped. Sareth reached them. Knelt again by Cade's discarded pauldron shard. Held it high. Legend's mark, she intoned. Coalition claims it. Cade straightened fully now. Med patch hummed on her arm. Team's mark, Majesty. Joint blood. Troops roared agreement. Humans, humble. Aliens, awed. Leo recorded furiously. Patterns align. Humans tough. Underestimated no more. Sareth placed the shard in Leo's grasp. Preserve. Study.